Thank you very much for staying on, and take this opportunity to thank Bill Rappard in particular for his undying and unwavering support of this convention and also of Australian Doctors for Africa. I'm thrilled to be here because I do want to tell you about a local West Australian organisation which has grown over the years to provide development of especially orthopaedic, but a whole range of surgical specialties in Africa. We're a voluntary organisation. We have 175 specialists who give their time, doctors, nurses and surgeons, for a fortnight to go to Africa and teach and train developing surgeons and doctors and nurses. We provide a link between Australian philanthropy on the one hand and the African need and gaps in specialty services. We're the only West Australian health organisation accredited with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Our mantra is to train and equip. That means reaching out to find enthusiastic and talented young doctors, nurses and surgeons and show them how to do good operations. Over the years, we have great support from the mining industry and the exploration industry, and we in turn support them. At the moment, we're active in 5 East African countries: Ethiopia, Madagascar, Somaliland, South Sudan and Zimbabwe. And this collection of countries represents a very interesting group because there's not a lot of mining culture in most of these countries. Zimbabwe and Madagascar growing, but not established as they are in some of the West African countries. So I mentioned training and equipping. We also, once we have trained surgeons, we provide them with medical equipment and supplies, and we redevelop the operating theatres and consulting rooms so that they can use their skills that they've just learned. I think it's true that in this particular area, an organisation or a company can take a micro view, meaning that they just focus on their immediate environment and provide some facilities that support their exploration or their mining development. Or they can take a macro view and make a contribution in terms of the African continent itself. And we have engagement with mining companies and all sorts of organisations at both levels. By our emphasis on orthopaedics and traumatology, which is the single greatest cause of mortality and morbidity in under 25s in the African continent, by linking with mining and exploration companies, we help solve some of their problems with their local employees and with their expat communities. And by training and equipping, we can increase the capacity to deal with all sorts of potential traumas and dangers. This is really our intellectual property. Down in the bottom left-hand corner is what we used to do. Show up with our toolboxes, see hundreds of patients and do lots of operations and go home. And that was a great idea, but it's not a sustainable way of managing things. So skills transfer and training, for example, in Ethiopia, we run the orthopaedic training program. We are training at the moment about 500 orthopaedic surgeons. That each year 160 become orthopaedic surgeons. And that skills transfer and training means that those surgeons are active for 52 weeks of the year instead of the 2 weeks when our teams might show up. And then infrastructure and development means the renovations and modifications and providing equipment so that those newly trained surgeons can do the things that they've learned how to do. Although orthopaedics is our flagship because it's the most common presentation to emergency departments, pretty soon locals come to us and say, well, did you know that we've got a lot of bilharzia and ulcer in Madagascar, for example? And Dr. Digby Cullen runs the largest gastroenterology program with 6 or 7 centres in Madagascar, fully equipped to carry out endoscopic surgery. Likewise with urology, with ear, nose and throat surgery, paediatrics, obstetrics, and the special area of clubfoot, which I'll mention again in a minute. So in each of these places, we try and match the capacity which Australia has with needs which are identified in response to local people. It's a great little model, and it works very well because of the close matching between availability and possibility. And so this is how we roll. This is actually in Toliara in Madagascar. The team of Australians is 6 or 8 specialists. We work in closely with local doctors and nurses, and these teams go away. They give their time completely voluntarily for 2 weeks at a time, and our organisation funds their accommodation and their transport and provides them with the supporting equipment. For example, some of our teaching and training, we adopted the first arthroscopic or keyhole surgery in Madagascar. That's us teaching some of the, in fact, that's in Madagascar, teaching in Ethiopia and Madagascar how to do keyhole surgery, ACL reconstructions. It's not only sports people who hurt their knees, it's the general public. And then the other one is one of my favourites. That's Haile Gebrselassie, Ethiopian icon and famous marathon runner and a Sydney Olympic gold medalist. He's our patron in Ethiopia. And here we are having a sawbones workshop. We have fiberglass bones, and we teach Ethiopian surgeons all gathered around there how to put plates and screws on bones. And Haile, a great guy, he comes and talks about the similarities between being a successful marathon runner and a successful Ethiopian orthopaedic surgeon. And I think he wants to be an orthopaedic surgeon. We have an excellent program of scholarships and fellowships. Once you're an orthopaedic surgeon, you usually need to go away from your home country, go overseas and learn a particular skill so that you can come back and add it to your community. And we send Somali doctors on scholarship to Ethiopia and Ethiopian established orthopaedic surgeons on scholarship to Egypt at the moment and India so they can achieve specialised skills. This is a great program. Our donors really love it because they have an established connection with these junior doctors who are learning special skills. Clubfoot's a very interesting condition. 1 in 1,000 live births suffer from this deformity. Same in Australia as it is in Madagascar and Somaliland. And in Australia, the midwife or the mum or the doctor notices it straight away. And kids' feet are very plastic, so if you can put plasters on them sequentially and put them in boots, if you get a young baby in the first 3 months of their life, you can completely give them a normal foot. If you don't, and if you don't have a screening program and you're not aware of that problem, that results in a very ugly and extremely disabling foot condition. And lots of the young people on the streets throughout Africa have suffered from this deformity which wasn't corrected. So in Toliara in Madagascar, we screen over 5 million people. We discover 200 babies a year and we treat them back to their normal feet. We've got a similar program in Somaliland. It's a simple and wonderful way of helping avoid disability. Medical equipment comes to us. We've got a big collection centre here and a warehouse at Spearwood. Used medical equipment is a little bit like your iPhone 11. It's perfect, but I want an iPhone 15 and my iPhone 11 is very useful when it goes to other parts of Madagascar, of Africa. And so it is with lots of medical equipment, with hospital beds, with arthroscopic equipment, with very high value equipment that we can be very careful not to dump it, be very careful not to impose rubbish upon people. We've got a very strict protocol. We just sent our 70th container away from Perth to those various destinations. This is in Hargeisa in Somaliland. We took that pink room, which was a very strong old colonial building, and renovated it into a first world operating theatre that's just as good as what I'll be using at St John's on Monday morning. That's a very low-cost intervention which takes a facility to a high level so that the doctors that we've trained can operate in first world conditions. And so that's how we roll. That's what Australian Doctors for Africa does. We're very proud of what we do, and not many people, even in Western Australia, know about it. But you can see it's quite a simple model of just matching need, but also development. We don't just go and give aid, we make strong partnerships. We learn as much coming our way as we do going the other way. And it's a small and dynamic small organisation. So thank you very much for your time.